Cool.
I genuinely feel like I'm filming on a potato.
Don't worry, you look great. You look fine. This is supposed to be like I think it's like it was less about me like producing a show and more about just recording phone calls that I'm having with people anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I like this sort of organic, found nature of it. You know, we're just cobbling some bits together, and I think that's the whole spirit of the lockdown, anyway, isn't it? That we have to find ways to cope. So
of course it is.
it's a nice symbol of that. Welcome back to Stay in Touch, guys. A new conversation show about staying in touch with the outside world and with ourselves during COVID lockdown and beyond, Buzz Lightyear style. I hope everyone's doing okay. And I've had a few messages from friends and stuff recently who said that they're kind of struggling at this point. Which, funnily enough, this week was the week where I started struggling too. I had a couple of days where I had to really reassess my schedule and realise that I was putting too much pressure on myself to be productive, which is hilarious because it's like a cliche, isn't it? And I already fell foul to it. And I think it's because I recognise that I have to stay busy, otherwise I'll go crazy. So I've kind of reassessed that, and I hope you guys, just encouraging you again to do the same thing. Don't feel like you need to get stuff done. Okay, what are we doing this week? Who are we talking to? We're talking to my best buddy, my best pal, Todd Wilson, back home in Halifax. We had a great conversation about all sorts, really, about what we're doing to be productive, to have fun, to stay in touch with people. It's kind of, it's that kind of fare that you can expect from every episode of the show. It's a real cool one. Todd was really lovely and open and frank. Something important to note is, funnily enough, following this line of thought about struggling, I spoke to Todd a couple of days ago, and this was a couple of weeks ago. We had this recorded conversation, and since then, it's just important to note that both Todd and I did report struggling this week. So, just take everything we're saying with a pinch of salt, and we both appear really positive in the conversation, and we're still positive, but just bear in mind that don't take it to look like we're perfect. We're not going through any struggle, and that you should be feeling that too, because we're struggling from every day is sort of different. I got some really, really lovely comments and messages from the first episode with my mum, Diane. Thanks again to my mum for being so phenomenal. I can't speak today, for being so phenomenal in that episode, and thanks again to everyone who watched it, and especially everyone who then got in touch to say that they enjoyed it. Email me at stayintouchshow@gmail.com, and what I'd like to do is start reading some messages out in these segments before the episode starts. So get on that, and maybe you'll see your name and whatever you say broadcast to over tens of people on the internet. Without further ado, let's get cooking. Todd Wilson, stay safe. Hello, Todd.
Hi, Jake.
Nice to see you. How you
Well,
doing?
good. Yeah, good, man. Really good.
Good.
How are you?
Yeah, brilliant. Not bad. Thanks for asking. It's you were just saying earlier, weren't you, that the weather's not as nice today, and I managed to get out yesterday and sit in the sun for like 2 hours, and it was really nice, and put off some things that I had to do. But I'm glad I put them off now because now it's gloomy.
Yeah, because you've got a day now to get that sort of stuff done. Yeah, I didn't necessarily sunbathe. I've got I've got a table and chairs I need to pick up from my old house to bring to this new house, and then I can have something to sit in my front yard with. But I'm on a roadside, so it's kind of it doesn't feel as relaxing to sit in the sun. But I was able to go across to the local park, and I've when I don't have the dog, because obviously I share the dog. So when I don't have him, I go on a long walk around the woods, because he gets a bit restless when you take him to the park. He goes to the park to play ball, so his brain can't compute like why we're just walking. Like, I want to play ball, so he just constantly jumps up. So I've been able to really enjoy kind of exploring different parts of Shelf Park and kind of walking around. And funny little story, I was listening to a playlist of new songs to learn. And one of my favourite songs came on, and the mood just struck with the sunlight perfectly. And I thought the park was empty where I was, and I did a little like Julie Andrews spin just to myself, like, and then I looked across and there was just a middle-aged couple looking at me. They just must have thought, God, he's completely gone. Like,
Don't you think though some of this like the social rules and all that sort of thing have just been thrown totally out of the window? And I think your
Oh, completely.
your engagement with strangers and with your own behaviour is like it's
Yeah,
so
I
one,
have
isn't it?
noticed that. I've noticed it almost in a more positive way. Like the amount of people that kind of are more willing to say hello or do the awkward sort of, all right, sort of face. Whereas normally people are, I mean, dog walkers are always friendly. If you've got two dogs, you always kind of say hello anyway. But I've noticed, yeah, people kind of smiling. And I think it's that thing of people are getting sick of the people they're isolated with, or people are on their own, like myself. So they're seeing another human being in the flesh from 6 feet away, 2 meters away, however we're measuring it. It's rewarding, and you do want to smile and you want to go, oh my god, there are other people out there. You know, it's lovely. It's really nice, and I am finding people are more likely to say hello. People say hello when they walk past the end of my yard. You know, when they're on the daily exercise or whatever. It's nice. It's nice. It's really nice.
I was in the supermarket yesterday and I got to the checkout and asked the lady how she was doing and stuff, and then she like made a joke and I like giggled, and it was that kind of like I almost like I giggled because it was funny, but I think there was almost more a sense of like, this is a stranger, this is a brand new
Yeah,
interaction and that is, I think I really recognise how rare it is because obviously I'm isolating with my housemate Jamie, and we're having a great time, and I couldn't, I never get bored of him. He's one of my favourite people in the world, but there's just something
yeah,
more, something fresh and
of course.
unique and new about like the potential of what a new person's bringing, and we're deprived of that, aren't we?
Yeah, and I think the sad thing in relation to who you were talking to there is I think a lot of the essential workers are kind of getting a lot of grief off people, like because we're running out of produce in the supermarkets or certain, there was a toilet paper shortage or pasta shortage or things like that. And obviously they're the ones that get the grief, even though it's not their fault. It's just Sue from the estate behind Tesco that works there. You know what I mean? It's not Sue that manages Tesco that she is the all knowing. Other checkout people are available. Sue is a fictional person in my brain. But yeah, I had a similar thing the other day. Walking to the park, there was a police car in the car park next to it, and the two police officers came out of the park and got into the car. And I was a bit nervous because I was like, "Oh, am I allowed to be on this walk? It's literally over the road from my house. It's my exercise. I'm keeping my distance." But they didn't look at me suspiciously. Then they caught my eye from the car, and I don't know why I did it, but I just stuck my thumb up, and then the guy wound his window down, and he was like, "Oh, have I done something offensive? Like, do you think I'm?" And he was like, "Oh, is everything okay, mate?" And I went, "Yeah, I just want to say thank you, like, for being out." And it was really cheesy, and I don't know why I said it. And I think it's just that thing of we forget that there are still people out there doing their job. And he just had this shocked smile on his face. He went, "Oh yeah, cheers, man. Have a good day." And it was lovely because I think he was so shocked to have had somebody just say thank you. And I think that goes on a daily basis anyway. Like when we're not in lockdown, how many times do you actually say hello to a police officer? Or we all think they're after us, don't we? You see a police car when you're driving, or or a police officer when you're just walking around. You think, "Oh my god, what am I doing that's illegal?" Or I know I do.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember,
I do.
I remember seeing I remember seeing a thing that the West Yorkshire Police released saying, "Don't make us bogeymen to your kids."
Mm.
Because my mum used to do it. We'd see a police car, she'd go, "Oh, they're after you." So then you become frightened of the police. But actually, what you want is if your child's lost, to approach a police officer and say, "Excuse me, Mr. or Mrs. Police Officer, but I don't know where my mum is." And so yeah, anyone that ends up watching these or whatever, if you see an essential worker out about, you postman even, just say, "Thank you" or "Hello, how are you doing today?"
Yeah,
You know,
definitely a time to find some of that appreciation, that gratitude, isn't it, for
yeah,
for those around us, and I keep it's funny because I'm you're seeing it everywhere, but it's I keep reading it on Facebook. They're like, oh, guess what? It turns out the essential workers and the people we really rely on are not.
100%, mate,
Yeah, yeah,
100%.
it's cool
It's
that.
it's giving those of us with kind of commune and socialist tendencies, and so it's giving us loads to kind of laugh about. I wouldn't declare myself any kind of socialist. I don't think any extreme of any ism works really, but it's I've always had a bit of a kind of commune mentality, that kind of thing of, oh well, if you come and fix my washing machine, I'll give you 2 guitar lessons, all that sort of thing. Or I have a loaf of bread that I've baked. Is there any chance you could come and screw my door back on that's come off? And I'm like it was, thousands of years ago. I really appreciate that kind of mentality of things. I don't think it's a realistic way to live life these days, but I do find things. I think in this kind of world where we're all isolated, that kind of mentality comes to the fore, because there's not a lot of money circulating, and people are saying, well, oh yeah, could you drop that bottle of gin off at my house? Yeah, no, I'll leave you some banana bread I've just made out. And it's like that, yeah, a financial transaction of sorts has just happened there, but it's not with pounds sterling, it's lovely.
Yeah, the new currency of kindness.
Yeah, I like that. I like that.
We'll have that one.
I'm just going to slide off camera and have a quick sip.
Yeah, go for it. You're like Tay Zonde.
I'm like who, sorry?
Like Tay Zonde. Remember that?
I don't know who that is.
Chocolate Rain. That's an old... Oh, what, really? Tay Zonde did Chocolate Rain. Chocolate Rain. And then...
Right, so I've got something I need to go watch after this.
Yeah. He was one of the first viral videos. First big, like, YouTube sensation. And so he was so he was recording the song Chocolate Rain, and then he would move away from the microphone, and he captioned it, I moved my mouth away from the mic to breathe, or something, because he didn't want the sound of his breathing to... So good.
Yeah, that's me.
I love that you were... one of the big reasons that I decided to make this show, you just said it, that we forget people are still out there doing their jobs, and for folks like you and me, I was working a retail day job, and the shops shut down, and not been pursuing any freelance work around that. And obviously you do like mostly sort of freelance work and that sort of thing. So we'll talk a little bit about that. But that's why I wanted to do these conversations, because I got like a week or a couple of weeks into isolation, and then you kind of remember why I'm even at home anyway, and what's going on. And I think as important as it is to preserve your own serenity and that the place where you are locked down is has an atmosphere, and in your mind you can cultivate an atmosphere of calm and normality. It's also important, isn't it, to stay connected to the fact that that is happening in the wider world, and that there's more going on than just what I'm going through.
Completely. I was poorly for about 9 days, and it was just before the lockdown started. So the Wednesday that it was announced that the schools were going to be closing, I woke up with like a migraine and everything, and I was in bed I ended up being in bed for about 12, 13 days. But the first day or two and the last day or two, I was kind of up and around the house and trying to sort things out. So that kind of that period passed by in a blur, because I wasn't with anybody. I was FaceTiming mum and dad, but my sleep pattern was messed up. So where people have been like, oh, I've been isolated for 4 weeks, in my head I've only really been isolated for 2. But so my unpopular opinion, I suppose you could call it, is that I'm really enjoying lockdown at the moment, which I find really strange, because I'm on my own in a house, we're still sharing the dog, so we do that safely. So my ex-partner will come to the gate, and kind of I'll let the dog out to her, and then she'll take him, and then she'll wash the harness when she gets home, and vice versa. She'll drop him at the gate, and he comes to me, and I wash the harness, and that's all done safely. But the weeks I don't have him here, so like this week, I'm completely on my own. But actually, I've been through a tricky time in my life the past kind of 6 months, and I've just moved into a new house, and I had no energy after being ill. But my mum and dad were so worried that I was kind of just living my life in bed, because you couldn't even get into my living room. So just before I was ill, a new sofa was delivered, a new tumble dryer, and it's all been in my living room. And I created it all kind of a couple of days after being poorly, and it gave me this new place to sit, and it created this serenity in me. And it's amazing, and I'm doing new things that are making me calm. And I was wondering about saying this, and it's my unpopular opinion, and I had to kind of give my head a wobble and go, actually, there's 1,000 people have died in the UK. There is a severe illness that is like spreading throughout the country. So it's that hard balance of kind of going, I personally am really enjoying having time to slow down, enjoy my creativity, learn new things, start meditating. You know, you've been telling me about meditation for God knows how long. And this week I finally started it. And like, I texted you the other day, didn't I, saying, oh my God, this is amazing. But I'm also having to remind myself that actually we are in a pandemic and there is, you know, horrible dangers outside of that door. And there are people that are fighting, you know, there's people we know that are fighting it. You know, everybody knows somebody that works for the NHS. You know, even people like postmen that are just, and post women that are just keeping the world, you know, kind of spinning round and moving on. But yeah, so my point there is, yeah, that it's so easy to forget that we're in this kind of thing where actually it's so dangerous. I read an article this morning, you know, that at the moment, the way the curve is going, we're going to be the worst hit country because of the way we've dealt with it. And there's still people out and about and meeting up. And I mean, my two elderly next door neighbours have gone out in the car together this morning. And it really angered me because I was like, where are you going? You know, you're so at risk, you know, judging by your ages. Like, please don't go out. Like, I don't know where you go out, if you go to the supermarket or. And I understand it's so frustrating that, you know, if you're looking at four walls but you shouldn't be making those trips if you don't need to, because it's other people you're putting at risk. You know, I haven't been tested, but I was told by 111 that it sounds like my symptoms were matching with the illness. If so, I've been very lucky because I got over it in the, you know, 14 days as suggest. I had no worry for my life at any point. You know, I was able to kind of keep my breath to a certain point. I had the cough, but I now have that worry of every time I go out, you know, is there still a trace of it on me? Am I going to pass it on to somebody else? You know, it's not about me catching it. It's about what you're doing to other people. Mm-hmm. So.
Thanks for touching on this idea that me and Jamie had this conversation recently, that it's hard to maintain a balance. It's easy to feel like I should just be sitting around not enjoying myself, in almost in a sort of weird masochistic solidarity with people who either are suffering from symptoms or have lost loved ones or are still out there working. It sort of feels like wrong to be and, you know, enjoying ourselves. But I guess that for me it feels like the right way to deal with that will be to find a balance of maybe doing things for other people as well as myself, staying connected but not letting it overwhelm me as well, because it's also easy to panic. And I guess my advice to anyone would be, like, if you have to look at it one way or the other, if you're either going to be overwhelmed and panicking about it, or there's an opportunity to find that calm and enjoy the time that you've got, then, you know, that's easily the way that I would advise. But like I say, I'm really glad that you've touched on, I think it is important to stay connected without it becoming the focus of your everyday.
Yeah, and we live in the golden age of connectivity. So I actually rang my mum yesterday in this kind of excitement, and thinking back on it, I had about 6 conversations before 12 o'clock with people on social media, whether via comments or via messages. And do you know what was weird? Was it wasn't people that you automatically think, you know, so people pair me and you together, or they pair myself and Chris and Melissa together, you know, and it's because we hang out a lot outside of lockdown. You know, they're the people that I'll go to a bar with or go out for food with or, you know, go on holiday with. But there were people that kind of are good friends, but I don't necessarily hang out all the time with. And it was maybe one comment on a picture started a whole conversation where, because you do instinctively kind of go, hope you're safe and well. Yeah, doing really well, actually. How are you? And then that opens up this conversation of, how are you finding lockdown? And I had like 6 conversations before 12 o'clock with these different people. And I said to my mum, I was like, I don't have that outside of lockdown. And it's lovely that actually people are genuinely saying, I finished most of my conversations with, like, I hope you're keeping safe, you know. And I mean it genuinely. It's not just kind of saying it because you're supposed to. So there's so many ways. I mean, a good friend of mine every day sent me just one text to me when I was poorly to make sure, to find out how I was doing, have I made any progress. And bless her, she said, you know, she didn't want to ring me in case I just was like, oh my God, why is somebody ringing me? But we've got so many means of keeping in contact and keeping in touch. I mean, I know house parties have this kind of bad rep that people have been hacked through it, even though I've seen articles that are saying, you know, prove it. Like but that was great fun when that first came out. You know, I was playing games with mum and dad and doing quizzes. The amount of quizzes I've done on Facebook and stuff, you know, Zoom quizzes, and I've just signed up to another one this morning. And my friend who owns a bar, she normally does a quiz on a Wednesday at her bar. And last night she was doing one of these open mic things on Facebook, on a Facebook Live, and she added some questions into it. So it still felt like, oh, we're still doing a quiz with Michelle. And so this is the golden age of connectivity. So I know social media gets so much bad press, and it's so negative for me at times, you know, where I stress out about what a notification is or what's that person saying. But right now, when we're here, use it to your advantage. You know, it's brilliant. It's helping me work. It's helping me keep in contact. It's brilliant. So brilliant.
That's my thing. I think when something so obvious happens, it outlines the need for us to stay connected. So you can't go out and meet your mates at the pub now. So it's like, okay, well, we need to stay connected then. And I think that there is, in regular life, I think that need is still there, and it goes unnoticed a little bit. And I think, you know, you think that you're connecting, and you might be seeing 100 people over a week, but I always wonder how truly we're actually connecting to people, you know, and sort of how understood we actually are, and how much of an effort we are actually taking to make sure that we're not just talking to someone, we are making sure they're okay and there's nothing else we can be doing for them. But now now it's so explicit. It's like, okay, now every interaction I have is an opportunity to say, how are you doing, and can I do anything for you, and whatever. And my hope is that is a really positive thing that is coming out of it, and I know this exists anyway. I'm not saying we've come out of a totally self-interested and dispassionate, you know, society, but
not at all.
But hopefully we've learned and will continue to learn lots of lessons. And I know even I, you know, doing something like this and just remembering to take the time to think about other people, and even when you're nowhere near them, I think it's really important, isn't it? And I hope that's a lesson that we take forward with us.
Yeah, I think people do care, obviously, outside of this, but I think it really makes you. One of the big things for me about slowing down and having a breath is it's really made me evaluate what I want in my life moving forward. You know, so what do I miss? Well, I don't miss going to that job or that client. So why do I do it? Just for money? Well, surely I could earn that money elsewhere, you know. I really miss that friend that I go out for a drink with. Or also, you know, to the other way. And it was really interesting seeing the people that regularly messaged me when they found out I was ill. This is no disrespect to anybody that didn't message me, but there were some really interesting people that kind of regularly checked up. Do I need anything? And it was people that I mean, one of was somebody that's in a senior role for a small company I do some work for, who we're not friends. We are in terms of working friends. We've become that, but you know, we're colleagues. He interviewed me for a role. He gave it me, and at first I was a bit nervous of him because he was quite, you know, he came across sternly to me as a former headmaster. So that's just what they've got, that natural charisma, haven't they? But obviously I had to contact him because I couldn't attend work when I first was ill. And so regularly kept in contact, and I was nervous at first when I saw his name pop up because it was like, oh, I'm ill and I can't do anything. What does he want? And then I'd open it up, and it was like just checking in on how you're progressing, and that's somebody I've known, you know, just less than a year, and it's really interesting the sort of people that are coming to the fore and kind of saying, you know, hope you're okay, and it really makes you evaluate, I think, moving forward, what bits you need and want in your life, and what bits maybe you don't need to put as much focus on. Like you were saying about the essential workers, you know, it's all the things that and we now deem non-essential. The amount of money that I haven't spent, it's unbelievable. You know, when I think, oh, well, actually there I would have had, you know, £30 in the pub, and then I would have spent, you know, £20 on the takeaway, and over a week, and then I'm going, oh, wow, say I had no money really at the start of this month, I've still got, you know, that minimal amount of money. Why? Oh, well, yeah, I suppose I'm not doing that, and stuff. And like Sky, fair play to them, have refunded me my Sky Sports subscription for until sport starts again, because there's no sport. So like, then I realised how much I was saving a month by not having that, and it's like, well, how much do I actually watch that? When I think about it, I only really watch when my team Liverpool are playing, or maybe one other game a week, and it's like, well, why on earth am I spending £50 a month watching it? Why am I spending £200 a month going out to the pub? And all of a sudden, yes, okay, you're doing it because you want to see friends and everything, but actually, that makes you then realise, well, I'm going out to see friends, so do I need to be drinking 10 pints a night? Or do I just have, 4 Cokes? Or what? You know what I mean? It's working out what bits you want still.
It's funny. It's funny because our culture is built on the fear of missing out, and it's built on we grab all this stuff and cling it close to us because we worry that if we don't have it now, then someone else will have it and we won't, or we'll miss the opportunity to have it. And when we do things, we have to squeeze every little bit out of them and just get more and more and more and more and more. And then when that opportunity is taken out of our hands, I wonder if it would be interested to ask this question to everyone, and maybe this is something I'll ask everyone that I talk to now. How much have we noticed, like, the things that we thought we needed, we're getting by without them, and you and I are a good case for that. But maybe certain people are struggling more with that idea than we are. But
definitely.
But isn't it interesting? And also, I think on the other side, you're probably finding things that you are capable of and you do value that you never thought you needed or you never thought you were capable of. I've started, this is well daft, but I walk to work, and that's like a 40-minute journey, and I'm pretty happy that that's my exercise. I don't do anything too strenuous, but I'm kind of like, I'm keeping active, whatever. And then without that, I started to get a little bit worried that I'm not, I'm just not getting that exercise. So I've started a bit of yoga, and like just like moving my body in that way is quite foreign to me and quite like difficult. I have like a lack of confidence about doing that, and I'm every day for 3 weeks. I'm there now, and to tell the truth, I'm getting a little bit restless and a little bit sort of fed up with the yoga, and I'll stick at it because I mean that's thousands of year old tradition. It's not to me to say actually this is wrong. Maybe it's not for me, but anyway, that's tangential. But yeah, I wonder.
Talking of essential work, as the postman's just been
fab. But yeah, that maybe it's an opportunity, isn't it, to find new things as well as letting go some of the things that we thought we needed really badly.
Yeah, and just to hit on a point you made just before that, the story about the yoga, you kind of said, there will be people out there that are missing those things, and it kind of, well, what that comes down to is what's essential for me isn't what's essential for Bob down the road. So for me, I'm realising that, alcohol in pubs and stuff isn't essential for me, or that kind of going out lifestyle. It is in terms of socialising, not in terms of the drinking and the takeaway nature. But at the same time, that might be the only chance, again, fictional Bob gets to see people, and that alcohol for him might be like chocolate for me. That's his one tasty thing a week. He has to have a real ale that he loves. So please, anybody watching, don't think that we're kind of saying, that what's essential to us is essential to you. Different things are essential to different people. I never viewed exercise as essential, even though I've kind of done it on off for years and years and years. I first joined the gym when I was 15, and I used to be quite obsessive as a teenager. And then since I was about 19, I've really lost it, and as most people know, got quite big. But then I've started again exercising, just short little bursts of exercise in my house, doing a challenge called the Bring Sally Up Challenge. And it's a song that's 3 minutes 26. And you've got to do the exercises to the length of the song. And it's I find it impossible. The press-ups I can only do, I did it this morning at 48 seconds is how long I can last. Look it up on YouTube. It's a common challenge if anybody wants to. But I'm starting to realise that actually, exercise is an essential for me. And I obviously was getting it in other places outside of lockdown. But then I started to realise, well, God, I feel it was building the sofa. I got a new sofa, and when I was building it after being poorly, I wasn't so much getting out of breath, but my muscles felt weak. And I was like, going for a half an hour walk and everything, that's great for my chest and my breathing. But actually, my muscles are getting really weak, and lifting that box wiped me out. So what can I do? What is there around that? And find things around the house. A friend of mine, Jackie, who's a former midwife. She was. I do an exercise class with her, and she made a little video of things that she uses to exercise around the house. So she had a really heavy cooking pot, and she was doing squats with it and stuff. And it's brilliant. Just do that. Find something in your house that weighs a bit more than is comfortable, and see if you can lift it 5 times, and just carefully, and just find ways to just make your body keep guessing it. It might waste 10 minutes of boredom. It might kickstart an obsession with exercise, which could be great for obsessive behaviour is never necessarily great, but might kickstart a passion for exercise and appreciating your body. That's my thing. I'm becoming more aware of is not about losing my weight. I'm always going to be a big guy in terms of I've got a stocky build, but actually I'm not quite happy with how that appearance part of my body looks. Not because anybody else tells me so. I'm never going to have a rippling six-pack, because I don't want it. I don't want to put the 6 hours a day in exercising and only eat chicken and broccoli, because it's not me. I love food, So just but I have noticed how essential exercise is, and now I'm enjoying. Since starting on Monday, so I'm only 3 days in, 4th day today. I'm enjoying meditating, and I'm just doing a basic course on the Headspace app, and it's just again giving you that time to pause and just kind of go, oh. And it's something actually that I have done for years, and I've taught for years. I didn't realise it, but I teach breathing exercises to the kids that I work with. But it made me realise I actually don't put my own teaching into practice. How often do you just sit down for 10 minutes and just breathe and focus and not focus and just? So yeah. I can't remember what the initial question was. I did a bit of a waffle there, but
that was great. It's all good stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's the brilliant thing about meditation. That is true. That I've been watching loads of these like interviews with like Buddhist scholars and all these people, and the people that you would expect to be quite sort of orthodox and sort of disciplined and sort not narrow-minded, but very certain about this is the way it is and whatever. But actually, those are absolutely the people that will say, no, everybody knows how to meditate. Everybody's achieved that state of calm, and whether it's people on an exercise bike or on a walk or moments before bed going with their eyes closed or whatever it is. There's tons and tons of people have access already to this meditative sort of practice. And all it is if you decide that one day, you do want to try the sort of more conventional, more traditional, I'm going to sit and do it. It's not any new, like, mystical thing that you have to, learn. It's just it's just accessing a part of your consciousness, which is there anyway and available for everyone, right? And you're right that all it is and all it has to be is just taking some time for yourself. It makes a huge difference just to do nothing for, like, are you doing it for 10 minutes, did you say already?
I just wanted to start. I thought, well, why not? I'm a bit like that. I'm almost a bit competitive.
Yeah.
And it was kind of, well, why would I do it for 3 minutes if I can do it for 10? So it was that kind of thing of, let's see what 10 minutes is. And because I've got really short attention spans, I really struggle. Even things like watching films, considering that's the kind of area of work I work in, and going to watch a show, it has to really grab my attention. Otherwise, my mind does wander. And then all of a sudden, I kind of was sat, right, okay, I've done the warm-up bit or whatever, whatever we're calling that bit. And then she went, great, I'll see you soon. And I was like, what? And it was over. And I was like, wow, that just passed by, and it was beautiful. And it was, I sound really silly. I after 3 days, I'm so passionate about it. It's just really, I've got this beautiful new corner sofa that I've got, and even though it says to sit with your feet planted on the floor, I've gone for the traditional kind of cross-legged thing of, I don't know, it kind of felt like something I should do. And I just sit in the corner, right in the corner, back upright, and I just feel so comfortable. And it just passes by. But linking with the lockdown, it is just this joy for me of everything has just slowed down. For how many years we've talked about the rat race and predicted the rat race, and all these people that are on the tube and going to these big jobs and doing this and rush hour, and I'm still seeing so many cars passing by on the main road, but there isn't the traffic jams that there normally is. And it's just lovely just kind of seeing people just take a minute, spend time with the family. I know everybody moaned about the homeschooling and it's hilarious, kind of laughing at memes going, oh, God, my kid's this and my kid's that. But how amazing that you're getting time to spend time with your children. And I'm just going to, there was something that a friend of mine, one of the schools I work with, sent me last night, and saying about how these children are missing, potentially 4 months of school, and they're gonna lose out. They're the lost generation and all this. But I'm just going to paraphrase, but it basically goes on to say, kind of, they're not. Maybe they're a super generation because they're going to come out of this with more empathy, more time spent with family. They'll be 21 years old and they'll go, oh my God, do you remember 11 years ago when we were all locked in the house and we couldn't see grandma and we had to FaceTime grandma and grandma didn't know how to use FaceTime and all of a sudden these laughs will come out of these jokes and yeah, we'll remember the fear and we'll remember the people we lose. And there is that tragedy, but hopefully we'll come out of this with happy memories as well, and kind of that beauty of, remember that time when, me and Dad built that Lego spaceship, or remember that time when Mum tried to teach me maths and she didn't know what she was talking about, and just that silliness, and so yeah, I'm really really excited to see how that progresses, but at the same time, I'm also missing the kids I teach a hell of a lot,
Tell us a little bit about the teaching you do, Todd.
So I'm kind of a freelance teacher, so I teach music in some schools. I also teach for a private drama school. So I teach a range of kids from 4 all the way through to 18. And, sometimes it does feel a bit like a chore, you're doing the planning and then you've got to go into work and everything. But I don't always realise the full joy of the children that I teach. And you see, one of my children that I teach drama to, I'm friends with her mum on Facebook, and she'd made a video presenting how to make your own hand wash. And I just got this swell of warmth in my heart of kind of, oh my God, and her presenting skills are so good. And I thought, oh wow, I remember that shy girl that came into my drama class and now she's doing this. And things like that, it's just so lovely. I do have one student still that I'm working with. I've got a young lad that I teach guitar to. So once a week, me and him FaceTime each other on his mum's phone. His mum sets it up. And we do the guitar lesson. And he's in his bedroom. I'm on my living room couch. And he's still progressing so well. And it's brilliant. And so that's nice. That's the one bit of work I'm still able to kind of keep going with. And then, as you know, I do the gigs normally, and I've managed to kind of take those online now, which is amazing. And I've received so much generosity from friends and people that I don't know very well. People have donated towards me to help me with the lack of work, and some of that I've been able to donate to the NHS as kind of a thank you. And yeah, just in this time when we're all kind of in a similar boat, people's generosity really kind of still just not baffles me, baffles the wrong word, but kind of shocks me in a positive way of, wow, people are good,
Yeah, isn't that beautiful?
People are good.
That's awesome. I'm really glad that who knows whether it's like paying your wages or whatever, but isn't it must be at least great to feel that support and that you're looked after by your audience and the people who care about you. And
so the two best things to come out of it, and not financial at all. I mean, the financial thing is amazing, and the generosity is so beautiful. The two favourite things for me was, firstly, the amount of people that messaged me. It was actually while I was poorly. Was an idea I'd had when I was worried about, will we go into lockdown? I thought, well, maybe we could do like a live from the living room gig on Facebook, and then all of a sudden lots of people started doing it. And I thought, oh, great, it is an idea that could work. And what was the first point was how many people messaged me saying, oh, you should do one of these, or could you do one of these? And it was that feeling of, wow, there are actually people out there. Because I always talk myself down and say, oh, maybe I'm not that good, or maybe, but actually there's people out there that want to see me do that and want to support me do that, and was almost in a way, maybe I'm blowing my own trumpet, but kind of saying, we miss your music, will you do one of these? So that was lovely. And then secondly is so I do them on Facebook Live and Instagram Live, and you see all the comments kind of putting through, and I read them all after the show. And it's nice, firstly, seeing people that don't know each other commenting. So, like, my mum last night was commenting with a guy from uni, and it was like, this is so weird. But then the amount of people that kind of say, oh, thank you, I really enjoyed that, a lovely way to spend my evening. And you kind of realise that actually, it's people are enjoying your creativity, and it's giving them something to watch in the same way that watching Tiger King on Netflix gives people something to watch. And those are the two things. It's kind of the thanks I get afterwards, and the people asking me, am I doing another one, or am I doing one? And it really just gives me that kind of sense of pride of, wow, like, maybe I am good at what I do. Maybe that is something I want to put more focus into after lockdown again, and yeah, it's lovely. So it's not even the financial gain from it, even though anybody that watches this, if you did donate or have donated to one of my gigs, thank you so much, because it does mean the world to me.
And just to clarify, you are saying that your Facebook Live streams are as entertaining as Tiger King?
No, nowhere near as entertaining as Tiger King.
You sell yourself short there. Todd is officially endorsed by Joe Exotic.
I just watched episode 2 this morning, and it is very, very entertaining.
We just watched the first one the other night. We couldn't believe it.
Yeah, man, it's bonkers, absolutely bonkers.
Yeah. Who do you? I mean, 2 episodes in, whose side are you on so far?
Oh, it's weird. So I've just got to the end of the second episode where all this kind of hatred for Carol Baskin that you're seeing on Facebook starts. It's just been, we've just had the end bit of kind of, the husband killer stuff's come out. But I definitely don't side with either, because I'm hugely kind of uncomfortable about animals in captivity anyway. Not as kind of any activist. I do still go to zoos. But I do worry about animals in cages. I can't side with either of the main guys, but I'm not sure I side with her either, because she's still keeping animals out of their natural habitat, and she's not recreating their natural habitat. At least you go to zoos, you go into a reptile house, you get that humidity and that heat or whatever, and they are trying to, or at least UK zoos and safari parks are trying to recreate that kind of plain that they live on. But these guys are just literally in the middle of, where are they, Oklahoma, and they've got a bit of grass and a cage, and just, yes, I can't find myself siding with anybody yet, and I don't think I will. Don't get me wrong, I find Joe Exotic humorous. Did you see, you've only watched one episode so far?
Yeah, just the one.
Okay, so the second episode, you've got some really fascinating, some stuff you'll find amazing about Doc Antle, just kind of the whole nature of his place, but then at the same time, I still don't side with Carol either. So see where it all goes. There's a 6 episodes, 7 episodes, something like that. So,
and I will say that I watched one of your live streams last week, and I wasn't presented with any sort of moral conundrum whatsoever. It was just easy entertainment, guilt-free enjoyment, and even less guilt if you donate as well. So that's my recommendation.
Oh no! I'm not here to plug the donation. Not at all.
You didn't plug anything.
I'm not here to plug anything. I'm here to have a chat with you. But I nearly said, when you said easy entertainment and no guilt, I nearly said, a bit more like Disney Plus. But then I was like, that has a lot of guilt comes with Disney as well, isn't there?
I've been.
You don't have to dig very deep there to feel guilty about Disney either, really.
No, that's it. I've been enjoying Disney Plus.
We talk about villain stereotypes from kind of 20, 30 years ago. We're going on. Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, that's it.
One of the interesting things I'm finding people talking about on Facebook, I actually saw a little, it wasn't an argument, but it was like conscious of kind of, there's been a lot of different memes going out about people being creative and wanting to use this chance to be creative. And then there's been ones on the other end of the spectrum saying it's okay if you're not. And it is, and both sides of that is completely correct. I've had days, I'm kind of breaking my week up into days where I've got things to do and I want to get through. Excuse me. But then I've got days where I do want to sit on my sofa, play Football Manager, watch Tiger King, watch Disney Plus. I'm trying to do all the Marvel films because I've never seen them all.
I'm doing that.
And I've got days where I want to do that, and it's okay. And this argument was kind of saying that kind of it's positivity porn, kind of people going, yeah, I baked banana bread today and I wrote 3 new albums and I also painted a picture of my child in watercolour. And that can be quite overwhelming to somebody that is struggling, maybe being indoors, maybe being locked up kind of thing, and struggling to get out of bed. You know, remember, people do still have depression, anxiety. Like I said, I found this has helped my anxiety, but other people it won't be. I read a sad story of a girl with autism who sadly took her own life through fears of what isolation would do to her routine, and it's awful. I just want to get it out there. From my point of view, neither of those is correct. Neither of them is wrong. Do what you want to do, what makes you happy. Tuesday, you might wake up and want to write a new book, and you might write a chapter. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you might wake up and want to make a bowl of Cocoa Pops out of a washing up bowl and a full litre of milk.
Yes,
you might want to.
I'll take that.
Yeah, you might want to binge watch all of what's that new one that everyone likes? Love Is Blind. You might want to binge watch all of that. And I'm doing so much work for Netflix. I need to do a bit for Amazon Prime now. I don't have Disney Plus. All I've done is called Disney Plus racist so far. Or implied. I implied. I didn't say they were.
You said it now.
Edit this bit out because I've already got Zuckerberg's already on to me. So many conspiracies.
We were talking about thanks again for really astute point that this is going to be difficult for lots of people, and also we're going to have ups and downs, right? So yeah, you're going to have your great days where I've definitely experiencing that, where some days I get up and I want to work hard, and then some days I want to get up and I want to do nothing, and it's hard to know what the right thing is to do, and the answer is there is no right thing, right?
I was just going to say there is no right thing, yeah.
I've been saying that I do think that the key to this for lots of people will be to do a little bit of something that you don't necessarily want to do, but will be at least enriching, if not productive, probably every day. But also, I'm trying to look at these moments like opportunities, not obligations. So
yes,
you know, there's all, because the problem is too that there's still always something else to be done. I can, you know what I mean? I can do whatever I'm doing on my to-do list, and then that moment where I sit down to go, I've done everything now, I can relax, and I kind of go, yeah, well, you didn't put this on your to-do list, and you didn't put this on your to-do list, and that balance is crazy and so difficult. So for me, that balance is going to be different for everyone, and it's different for me day to day. And yeah, you're so right that we don't have to be doing anything all the time.
Yeah.
But I do think you can also get in a rut if you don't do anything, can't you? So.
Yeah, I mean, my new, going to that point of kind of, there's always something to do. My new house has got 4 rooms, a bathroom, a cellar, and a landing. And I tidied the bathroom and obviously redid my living room. Those are the only rooms that are tidy. There's a spare room that is tiny, but it's just literally, you can't step into it for stepping on stuff. It's just full of stuff. My landing's quite similar. My bedroom, you can kind of do a leap and jump into the bed, but the floor, again, is filled with bags of stuff that's not been unpacked yet. And I'm kind of living off this joy that I made my living room livable in, and it's super and it's great. The kitchen, there's loads of washing up to be done that I haven't done yet because I've been doing loads of cooking and being creative. But that's okay because there's time. And I need to maybe give myself a little kick up the bum and do my washing up or whatever, but because dirtiness is never good. You know, it's not wrong for me to live in that joy of, do you know what, because what I did was I built the sofa and I had this massive pile of stuff in the corner of the room that all needed unpacking. And the sofa comes with a bit of storage. So I was like, oh, well, what can I put in that storage bit? Well, I'll put these sort of bits in. And by the time I'd moved those, all of a sudden this other unit was free. And I was like, oh, what's going in that unit? All those bits. And all of a sudden it was nearly done. So I was like, well, I might as well just finish it. So I deserve the right to kind of relish in that and be like, yeah, do you know what, this, because I only finished that on It's either Saturday or Sunday. So yeah, I have done something this week within the 7-day period of kind of, yeah, that's amazing. I've done that. Great. And it's a case of not beating yourself up if you haven't done that. You know, do use this time for what you want. If you want to sleep all day, every day, you do that. Yeah, okay, you might not make any progress in life moving forward, but your body might just need to sleep. Your body might need that time to switch off. It might be that you work from 8 in the morning till 8 at night doing 3 different jobs, 7 days a week, which a lot of self-employed people do. A lot of, regularly employed people do. If your body just needs to switch off, do that. If you want to just sit and binge eat, if that's what's going to make you happy, do it. If exercising every day and doing Joe Wicks PE and followed by insanity workouts, followed by Rosemary Conley yoga, do that. That's amazing. If you want to get up and write 10 plays, do it. There is no right way to do lockdown. Do what is going to make you happy. And if somebody else says that's not good, it's not good for them. It's not that it's not good for you. It's that person wouldn't survive lockdown by binge eating or wouldn't survive lockdown by exercising all day. I think it's so important to get that across to people. It's about you. No, that's all that matters.
That's beautiful. A couple of things you've said there. I also unpacked my stuff when I started locking down. I was similar to, I did a week off and then my work shut. So anyway, I've been off a while.
Yeah.
And one of the first things I did was got around to unpacking my room, unpacking my stuff, and because I'd moved recently, and had been putting it off, and it was like a terrible thing that I'd been putting it off, and I didn't want to do it, and then when I did it, oh my god, it's like new lease of life. It was just unbelievable, and I think this is a time, isn't it, for getting round to stuff, because there's always stuff that we've been putting off, whether that's I haven't looked at this hobby or I haven't sorted this thing out, done whatever. Now there is time, isn't there? But that means, again, it's an opportunity and not an obligation. It's a time to ask yourself, is this the time to do this? And it just might be. And now you've got time to do it incrementally too, and whatever.
Yeah.
And you.
And it is, and I love. Go on, sorry.
I was just going to say your living space as well. How important is that more than ever in this time? And it's not about making it pristine because you think it should be pristine. It's about how do I want to enjoy this space? What do I do with it that is good for me? And yeah, you're right. I think there's totally a healthy amount of washing up on the side, because it means that it means you've eaten something, you've cooked something, but also now you've eaten it, you've got time to relax, and it's not the first thing on your mind that you have to keep cleaning all the time. And I say a healthy amount. We have a problem with that. We're in a good phase right now where washing up gets done at least once every day, but who knows? There's time for it to.
Mum's gonna hate you because she's desperate for me to stop the washing up out, and you're like, okay, am I washing up right now?
I said a healthy amount. I don't know what it looks like in there. You might have not washed up since we locked down.
Yeah, no. It's my problem is I've moved from a house with a big kitchen into a tiny galley kitchen. So there's barely enough room for me to walk kind of down my kitchen. And there's no cupboard space. There's nowhere to put the drying, so it's just one of those where I'm having to do little bits at a time so that I can kind of dry it off in that little tiny bit of space, then put it away, and then I can't wash more until that space is clear to move. I'm just making excuses to you right now as to why I haven't done much. The podcast has gone to the dogs.
I don't know how you feel about this, but this has been a really, really lovely conversation, and you've been very open and generous and warm, and said really, really gorgeous things about the situation we're in, and put a really positive spin on it. And I thank you for that. Really, really appreciate that. And also thank you for helping me, not to do the cheesy thing and say the title of the show, but thanks for helping me in this mission to stay connected to how other people are experiencing this time, and also just bearing in mind those around us who we might not get to speak to, but are doing great things to keep our lives turning over the way that we want them to. Is there anything else that you feel like you'd like to say before?
No, just thank you for thank you for making our connectivity a bit more creative, and because it's just more fun, isn't it? It just we've got to toy around with different ways. Like I was saying about house party and playing games and stuff. Toy around with the ways that you do your phone calls or your text messages or whatever. Set your partner's chores to a quiz. What do you need to do by the sink today? Watching up? Yeah, you got a point. No, but just keep doing what makes you feel okay during this lockdown. I know I've said it about 10 times during this podcast, but yeah, and just stay safe as well. Don't go out if you don't need to. That's something we haven't touched on. Please just don't. Because I'm not talking about you getting ill. I'm talking about you potentially infecting others, through your own selfish act. So stay home, do what makes you happy, stay safe, stay connected. End it there.
That's it. Stay safe, stay connected, stay in touch. And we can find Todd at Todd Wilson Music on Facebook, can't we? If you want to. And what are you on Instagram, bud?
Todd.Wilson.
Todd.Wilson on Instagram. And yeah, Todd is doing these live streams. I guess you're planning to keep doing them, right? And
So Instagram every Wednesday at 7 p.m. and Sundays on Facebook at 7 p.m. So every Sunday and Wednesday, I'll be on your computer screens if you want me to be, or your phone screens.
Yeah,
and it's not about the donations. Just come and enjoy the music.
That's it. That's beautiful. Some free entertainment for you there, streamed right into your living room. And then if you want to kick him a couple of quid that you would have spent watching him in the pub anyway, then that option is there. But he's not asking for that at all. And I think he's cringing every time I suggest that you should make a donation to Todd Wilson Music. So don't feel obliged. It's an opportunity, not an obligation. That's our new motto.
Yeah, that goes under the title of the podcast.
I like it.
I like it.
If anyone wants to design me a logo. All right, Todd Wilson, thank you so much.
Peace out.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching this. For getting all the way here, you get to see the secret post-credits bonus scene where you find out where I'm hiding all my Infinity Stones. Got one in this little pocket here, just right there, keeping that safe for me. If you want to send me an email, do at stayintouchshow@gmail.com. We'll read your comments out next week. Coming up, we've got my brother, we got my sister, my grandparents. We got the whole family involved, keeping it in the family, man. I also got an old mate from uni. I'm really excited about that one. We talked for ages about like some real mystical stuff, dude. So I'm like editing a lot of that out to make it more user friendly. Look forward to that. In the meantime, let me know what you've got going on in your life. What's your favourite lockdown snack? That's your assignment for next week. Send me that. I want to know all about it. All right, you stay in touch and stay normal. Don't stay normal. Be weird. Bye.